Okay, let's see. Yeah, hello everybody. Welcome to Amateur Radio Roundtable, a show about ham radio, amateur radio, shortwave, and electronics, and maybe a few other things. And we really welcome you in here tonight with us, especially if you're listening out there on WBCQ on 7490 on shortwave. Love to hear from you. Please send us an email to Tom at w5kub.com, Tom at w5kub.com, and let us know where in the world you are, and tell us how you're hearing the station there. Now, I don't know if they got any snow up here today or not, but I think a week or two ago they had quite a bit of snow. There's a good shot of WBCQ, their feed line, and what the weather's like up there, especially the long winters there. Hey, we're on about every podcast carrier out there: iTunes, Google Play, iNet Radio, you name it. We're out there. You can just listen to our audio, or you can download the audio. So we want to give you the opportunity to find us there. Also, join our Facebook group. Our Facebook group is just called W5KUB, and we got about 14,000 great ham radio members in that group. So just go to W5KUB on Facebook, join it, and it kind of follows the show here. And there's a lot of other stuff too that's not on the show, which might help you. It's a great place to just to talk ham radio there. If you will, hit the subscribe button. Yeah, let's see if I can help you out here. Subscribe button. It's somewhere. There we go. It should be right down there somewhere. Hit that subscribe button. It helps us out a whole lot to advertise the show, to get new people in here. And if you hit the like button, that helps YouTube to see that people are watching us, and they'll also start seeing it out to more people that are looking for shows about, electronics, shortwave, ham radio, and so forth. So please hit that subscribe button there too. Hit the notify button. We're going to start doing some webcasts in between weeks on special things we're working on, maybe some product reviews or some builds, building some things, and they'll probably be in between the shows. We'll still probably carry some of it on the show, but to see the full video, click on the notify button so you'll know when those come on. Let's see what else I have to tell you tonight. I think we've got a good show tonight. The last couple of weeks we've gone to Ameritron. We looked at the Ameritron factory and assembly. We've gone to their metal shop, MFJ's metal shop, and silk screening. And tonight we're going to go. This is something I did a while back, but it's still, I think, a really good quality video, and it shows you the operation behind the scenes for MFJ Enterprises. And this is the company MFJ, where they make all the things like the antenna analyzers and tuners and things like that. So I'm with Martin F. Jew there, and we're going to be looking at the last part of the show. We're going to be looking at the MFJ Enterprises behind the scenes. We've got some Hamfest coming up. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes. And let's see, while I'm mentioning it, I've been asking for people. We've got a show project where we're going to convert a All-American 5 radio. There were millions of those made in the 50s and 60s. The All-American 5 radio. And I've been needing one, and nobody can find one. And there should be millions of them around. I want the one with the 7-pin tubes, the 7-pin miniature type tubes here. And those tubes are like 50C5, 35W4, 12AT6, and so forth. There's a picture of the tubes. There's a picture of the radios. And guess what? I'm going over to Russellville, Arkansas this weekend for the Hamfest, and I have located. Look at this. Somebody sent me a note. They're bringing me an All-American 5 to the Hamfest. So we will have an All-American 5 to try to convert to an AM broadcast transmitter. Although this radio has some trouble, the filter caps have gone bad, and I will need to probably replace those. Let's see, Martin's birthday is today. I didn't know that. No more show.
I didn't either. Wow.
Hopefully,
Yeah,
no
you know,
more
I
work.
scoured Orlando's flea
Yeah.
market, and there was not one of those radios there.
Yeah, well, and there wouldn't be at the Russellville Ham Fest either, but I put it out on the Russellville Ham Radio Facebook group page where, you got 800 people out there that are going to be
Yeah.
coming to the Ham Fest. And I told them, look in their attic, look in their basement, look in their barn. And hey, it didn't take long. Somebody found one and said he'll bring it.
Very cool. Well,
So
I'm going to be going to Russellville
there we go.
too, so that'll be fun.
Say, what was that?
I'm
Well,
going to Russellville too.
okay, well that's cool. Kathy and I are going over. We don't know what we're going to do afterwards. We may go up. We may end up in Bryson or something. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
We may end up somewhere, maybe down to Hot Springs. I don't know. But we don't get
Well,
out
you know,
that
there's a
much.
small science fiction convention in Batesville same weekend,
Oh yeah.
and I'm thinking about hopping over there too maybe on Sunday.
Oh okay. Well, now the Ham Fest is only the one day. It's like
Right.
from 8 to 2. But it should be a pretty good Ham Fest, I think. And
I'm looking forward to it.
And then from there, I'm gonna take Kathy up on Mount Nebo. We went last time we were there. This is my home away from home. I went to college there 55 years ago, and uh, there's Mount Nebo is there. And
Yeah, I've never been there.
you never been there?
I
You ought
haven't
to go
been.
up there. Mount Nebo. The road is almost straight up. Actually, it's a bunch of 180-degree turns and
Yeah,
a very
no, I
narrow
have never
road.
been to that part of
And
Arkansas.
you get up there, you'll overlook the Arkansas River, you'll overlook the dam, the locks, the Lake Dardanelle. You'll see for miles and miles. A lot of the guys here in Memphis go to Mount Nebo during the VHF contest.
Yeah,
The Mount Nebo is a flat top. I'll call it a mountain. It's about 2,000 feet, which is pretty high around there. And so it's a flat top. There are actually cabins up there, and the guys usually rent a cabin. About, I don't know, 6 or 8 of them go up there. They take tower
yeah,
up there. I don't know why they need a big tower. They're up 2,000
because
feet for the VHF contest, and it's really a good location for VHF when you're up
yeah,
2,000 feet there, and nothing's that high around you, man. You know.
yeah, I'm
Oh
looking
well.
forward to going over that part of Arkansas. I've never been there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we'll do it, and we'll see you there. Our friend Walter, that used to be on the show here, that lived here, our retired FedEx pilot, he moved to Maumelle, Arkansas, which is right there at Little Rock, and that is about that's about an hour, maybe 60, 75-minute drive from there to where the Hamfest is. So he's going to come over. We'll get to see Walter there. Okay, so let's see, man. Announcements. We'll talk more about the Ham Fest coming up here in a minute. But Glenn, you got anything special you want to tell us tonight, man? Since you're up, you're. Oh, hey, you lost power today, man. You think they
Yeah,
shut your power off because you quit MLGNW?
yeah, it was a spite thing, I'm sure. Except I'm not on MLGW. I'm on Entergy, so
Oh,
they're in cahoots.
oh yeah, I guess so.
But,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, no, actually, it worked out. I didn't have anything planned, and I was just chilling. But yeah, I've got a couple things. Um, this is a chapter from the new ARRL book that I've got coming.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
in the final stages of proofing and laying it out and stuff like that. So you can see, this is basically what the book is looking like at this point, and doing the same thing with the book that's coming from a lector. And I think they're both going to be out probably before April, if not mid-April. They're both just going absolutely crazy. As you can see, we're editing chapter 15 of about 22 on the ARRL side, so we're getting real close to finishing there. And so
That's cool.
that's what I've been working on. And I need this break in Russellville just to recover, because this is
Yeah,
crazy.
I need a break too. That's the reason we're going.
Yeah,
I
it's going to
gotta
be
get out
fun.
of here, man. Gee. Okay, hey, let's jump over and see what old Jim's doing there. Jim? How you doing tonight, man? And I'm glad you made it, Jim.
I'm glad I made it too. Good to be here. Hey, Glenn, what's the book about? The book's
It
about
the books are about Arduino.
Arduino.
The IRRL one is the best of my first three um, Arduino books for ham radio with ARRL. And the Elector is another collection of projects of Arduino for ham radio. They include things like a lightning detector, rotator controllers, um, a little miniature weather station, just all
Oh,
kinds of
neat.
cool
Oh,
stuff.
yeah. Sounds like lots of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Now,
introduction time.
hey, Jim, I'm gonna have to give you 5 demerits if you don't center
Uh-oh.
yourself on the screen.
Uh-oh. I better hurry and center
No,
myself.
you're
I'm not
okay.
centered.
You're okay, but whoop, wrong way. There you go. Now you're
There
looking
you
good,
go.
man. You're looking good.
That's all right.
Yeah.
I've been called worse than off center, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We're all a little
little,
off center.
little off center. Thanks. Yeah. But modulation, okay. Not over
Yeah.
modulated.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Sound like
Anyway,
you're on plate modulation there, 100%.
100%. Yeah.
Plate
It's
modulation. This is not screen grid stuff. This is plate
I'm using
modulation.
I'm using 811A modulators.
I was
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
say the plate's glowing a little bit blue.
Yeah. All right.
With what are they 872 rectifiers, um, or
I don't remember.
866s, and
I don't
the
know.
mercury.
I never
You
used any
know,
of those glowing
uh,
vapor
uh,
rectifiers.
yeah.
I was
Uh,
always lucky enough to find some
this
diodes.
Now
this
you
is
see,
this is going back
Yeah.
100 years, so
Yeah. Yeah.
most guys wouldn't know what I'm talking about. But
Oh, yeah.
yeah, there were ways to generate an AM signal, and this is kind of what we're checking. I'm doing okay weather here. We're supposed to get a storm and a big one into the Sierra Nevada, so it's going to dump a bunch of snow beginning at a couple thousand feet and higher. Or since I don't live up in the mountain anymore, we'll just have some cold, rainy weather. But that's okay. We need the snow in the mountains. Otherwise, doing okay. And um, been working on the station and one of the amplifiers, and I'll talk about that because I had to break out a couple of bird watt meters, and I'll show you about what a bird watt meter, a bird 43, is
All right.
in a few minutes.
We'll look at that in just a moment there. Looking forward to it. Uh, and hey, that storm you're talking about, we're supposed to get it here too. I mean, I think when we get it here, it's going to be like severe weather. It's going to be, hail, rain, wind, that kind of stuff is what's going to happen here.
The last shot of winter, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's check in with Brett real quick. What's going on, Brett? Come on in here, man. Say hello.
Oh, hello, Tom. Yes, well, here in Laramie, Wyoming, we had a week of spring. And it was kind of strange in the middle of February to get a week of spring, but we did, and it was wonderful. And I went and climbed some towers and some roofs. And then yesterday we got winter again, and it was snowing. We got a couple of inches of snow, and so I went inside and I started making cables, and that's what I've been up to. Here's one of the cables that I've been making. So I've been making power cables for the shack and just generally doing indoor stuff for the last couple of days. And that's pretty much what I've been up to.
All right. Well, great. I'm glad you got something to do when the weather's bad. You stay in and you continue working. All right. Hey, let's just jump over here with let's see what Jim's got. I think Jim's going to talk about some bird watt meters tonight, and that's a nice watt meter. I've got a couple of
Yeah.
them, and I just ordered me a new slug today for it. Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah. Just real quick, it's before the show started, we were talking about, and everybody confirmed that the standard of the industry for measuring the output of a transmitter on many different frequencies and power level is the Bird 43, which has been around since the 1950s. It's a real simple design, and you mentioned a slug in the front. I got to get my fingernail in here. In the front is a clip that holds a slug. You get the clip out of the way, and you pull the slug out. And the slugs are various frequencies and various power levels. This one happens to be 250 watts at 3 to 30 megahertz.
Well, Jim,
The-
did you get the slug out or not? Is it?
yeah, I did.
Oh,
I've
you
got it
did?
out. I'm holding it. Yeah.
Okay, good, good.
Yep. So this bird device weighs maybe 6, 7, 8 pounds. It's a heavy case. Um, it's a highly accurate watt meter to a point, though. So there are different slugs, different frequencies. For example, at HF, there are several different values like 50 watts and 250 watts and 1 kilowatt and 2,500 watts and 5 kilowatts. And at other frequencies, like in the 2 meter range, they have different values. 50 watts, for example, is a typical slug for 2 meters. The inside of the bird looks a little like this, and turn it the right way. This is the line section that does the sampling. It's cast, heavy, thick. Parts of it are more than a ½ inch thick. That's just how heavy the spart is. In this particular watt meter, I installed a peak reading device. And so there's a switch on the side to turn it on and off. And that allows it to do PEP. And here's the issue with a bird that you need to be aware of. It's a standard of the industry for like a steady state carrier. So you might be transmitting, I've got a bird dummy load. You might be transmitting with your amplifier a kilowatt, and you can measure that kilowatt with the bird watt meter. But if you switch to single sideband, it's no longer going to indicate a kilowatt. It's going to indicate maybe 200 watts on voice peaks because the meter is heavily damped. The device isn't meant to measure PEP unless you add a circuit board to it. For more than 70 years, it really has been the device that people buy if they want an accurate watt meter. This is I like the bird so much, I bought leather cases for them. They're really pretty. They're lined. And, there's places to put in the slugs. Also, I've got a heavy duty case if I'm going to go outside and I need various slugs. That's what's in here. So I've got 2 meters, 440, and HF at various power levels. Another thing about the slug that Glenn mentioned, and I forgot to say it, the bird watt meter, if you rotate the slug, you get this one. Okay, if you rotate the slug, there's an arrow on it. That means it's measuring in that direction. So the load would be out here and the transmitter would be over here. Now, if you rotate the slug, it's doing the opposite direction. So the slug tells you which direction it's reading, either forward or reverse. And so there is really no forward or reverse on it. You just have to orient the slug to indicate the direction that you want to read in. They're highly prized. They're fairly expensive. I think the units at least to $250. The slugs are probably average 100 to 150. So it's a great device to have if you want to measure the output of an amplifier and you want an accurate measurement. They're a wonderful watt meter. And as I said, they've been the standard of the industry for a very long time.
And that's part of it too, is, when you say standard, today we say watt meter or antenna analyzer or whatever. Back in the day, you needed a watt meter. You did not say, give me a watt meter. You said, give me a bird. Period.
Yeah, that's true.
I want a bird. Just get the bird.
If the FCC showed up at your front door, he'd probably be carrying a bird watt meter, as he did it at some friends' houses where they went in and measured the output of the transmitter in California.
Yeah.
Well, just remember, the bird's the word.
There you go.
Yeah.
Very
Well,
cool.
did you show me the case you got there again, Jim?
Which one, the
The
leather
leather
case
case
or
that
the?
you got with it? Have you got it
Yeah,
there?
yeah, I
Handy.
do.
Now that looks prettier. Let me show you something. That looks prettier than what I got. This, I think I got a cheapie here. Let me see. Let me see if I can show you what I got. I got a cheapie. It's similar. I guess it's similar to what you have here,
Yeah.
but it's pretty old and not doing too
There,
good.
there are seems to be two conditions that you find a bird watt meter in,
Yeah.
and the accessories. One, it's been used a lot. It's got some dings, and it doesn't dent. You can chip the finish, but you're not going to dent that
Yeah.
cast
Yeah.
body. So they're either well used or pristine and appear like they've never been used. Um, anyway, it's one of my favorite devices because it's such a neat thing and it is so accurate that I compare everything to that. So I've got other watt meters like the LP100A, and I calibrated that to the bird because the bird is accurate.
Well, and I was showing you before the show started. I've got a couple of them, but I did make a mod. There was a article out to put a mod on your bird, and you can see right here. I've added this mod, this little 3-position switch, and it'll give you 1 times, 2 times, or 5 times, whatever your slug is, and very easy to calibrate. You only calibrate 2 of these because one of them is already calibrated. But it's just a little 25 turn pot inside, very precise, where you can set the wattage, and so that does help you from having to buy a lot of different or additional slugs. But
Are you switching resistors then to?
Yeah, what you're doing there is just the meter here actually has, to calibrate this meter, it actually has a variable resistor in series with that meter, and all they're doing is putting a switch in there, and they're adding two more variable resistors, where you can actually calibrate it for two additional power levels, like 1 times, 5 times, and 2 times. But anyway, I did order another slug today, and I don't have a VHF slug. I don't know how accurate this slug says 400 to 1,000. I don't know if this probably would not be very accurate at 144 megahertz. So I ordered me a slug today that will handle 144. It seems all my slugs are 400 and higher.
Now, do they still make this bird watt meter, or has it gone out of production?
No, it's you can buy it. I went to their website. It's still there along with the slugs.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
Whoever
I think there are some slugs out there that aren't made by bird that will fit this. Do you know about those, Jim?
Yeah, I do. Don't ask me the name. I forgot. Yeah, there are. I probably whatever patent there was is expired. There is another brand of slugs. They're a little bit less expensive, but they're just
Yeah.
as good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they fit and turn just like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, hey, thanks for telling us about that. And there's probably a lot of people, especially newcomers to ham radio, that didn't know that. And that's why we're
Yeah.
here, to show them old things and new things, right?
An old guy showing old things.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's what I like, the old things. I don't like the new things too much. In fact, man, Jim, I'm not a digital guy, man. When I get to working on digital stuff, I mean, modes, I pull my hair out.
I don't have a lot of hair left.
Yeah, well, me either. Yeah, I'm getting now where I don't know what to do with this up here.
Yeah, what's this hair thing you guys are talking about?
I don't know, man. All right. Well, very good. Hey, Jim, thanks so much for telling us about that, and hopefully we'll see you again next week. Stick around as long as you can tonight with us.
All right, I will.
Yeah.
That just chemo starts. I'll mention that real quick. Chemo starts again next week on Monday.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. It can be pretty debilitating.
Yep. Okay, man.
All
Well,
right.
take care. Take care. Hey, Brett, come on in here real quick. And what do you been work? What kind of connectors? What have you been doing?
Yes. Well, I've been making cables, and the kind of cables that I have been making are mostly power cables for my shack. And so what I have here is cables using Anderson power poles. And these are, as Jim was saying before the show, they're difficult to put together, but once you put them together and you use them, they are just a great convenience and just tremendously handy to have in the shack. And I'll show you a little bit more about how they go together and about the Aries Races convention for these. Um, Here we have the Anderson power poles, and as you can see, they're here at the end of the cable, and you notice that they're ganged together. They can actually go together in about half a dozen different ways, one above the other, one next to the other. Um, so Aries Reese's went ahead and standardized on a way to put them together, and the way I remember the order you're supposed to put them in is the same way you remember if you have a boat, which where the buoys are when you're going back to when you're going back to port, red on the right with the blocks on top. And the nice thing about power pole connectors is when you set them up this way, um, you can wire the two ends exactly the same and arrange the blocks exactly the same, and the red will mate with the red, and the black will mate with the black, and they will just go together. And you can't put them together the wrong way. So this is very handy in the shack. Once you get all of these set up and get them polarized correctly, you can't plug them in the wrong way, reverse polarity, and potentially blow something out, which is extremely handy. Now this one has a nice jacket on it over the connectors. This one here, if you take a good look, you can see a little more of how they're put together. These are crimped on. And what you do is you crimp the terminals on, then you slide them into the plastic shells, and they lock into the plastic shells. Now, the plastic shells look the same. There's actually three different ampacities or current levels that you can have for these, and they look all the same from the outside. The Anderson power poles that are 15 amps and 30 amps and 45 amps are all exactly the same size, and they'll mate with one another. So you need to be careful with your fuses and with how much current you're passing through them. What I did, because I wanted to have some cables that would power 100-watt radios, is that I went out to Amazon and I found 10 gauge oxygen free speaker wire. And they really good stranded speaker wire, very heavy. It's 10 gauge, so it'll handle tens of amps. 30 typically this will handle about 30 amps. And I went and put them together and used the largest size of power poles to put them all together. And so I made these cables to go in my shack between all the radios and my power supply. And of course, I put the power poles on all the cables which go to the radios, all the proprietary plugs. And now, once I do that, I don't have to worry about an ICOM plug versus a Kenwood plug versus anything else. I can plug anything into my fuse blocks, and it'll work. Now, the next thing you need after you assemble all these cables is you need a fuse block, and here's an example of one. This is a Chinese one that I got on eBay, and as you can see, what they have is you have the DC in here, and you can have a master fuse here that that's basically the rating of your power supply, and then each of these other pairs of power poles is protected by a fuse that can be rated for the device that you have and for the cable that you have. So you can keep everything safe, and make sure that you don't have you can have some overcurrent protection there, so you don't set anything on fire or blow anything out. But you can also keep things very organized. And again, these cables, once you make them, will plug directly into the set of power poles that you have here on the on your fuse blocks. Now, again, this is a generic Chinese one. There's also, if you want to get a name brand from a reputable dealer that deals with hams, West Mountain Radio is probably the best source of those. And they also sell the power pole connectors, and they also sell crimpers, which are very, very handy. And they sell another tool which is very handy, which is an extractor tool, which helps you get the terminal back out of a power pole connector if you get it in there and for some reason you need to redo it. Once you lock these terminals into the power pole connector, they are very hard to get out unless you have the extraction tool. And so if you're going to be dealing with power poles, I recommend that you spend the money on that, and you spend the money on a good crimper. So anyway, that's what I've been up to, and I've been rewiring some things in my shack, and just generally making things so the power works. And again, this is just a very nice thing to have, not only for ham radio, but really for anything that's powered with DC. It's if you use a lot of devices in your car, it's very useful to set up power poles this way. But anyway, that's what I've been up to, and for more information on this, if you look at the West Mountain Radio website, westmountainradio.com, they have all kinds of information about this, and the ARRL website also has some information about the Aries RACI standard for setting these up. So that's pretty much all I have for tonight. Just a small tip.
Well, some of the people in the chat room are talking about the little pin that you can put in here to lock them together. I've never used that pin and never really had to. They hold together pretty good without the pin, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. And as a matter of fact, you can just use crazy glue. Anderson themselves recommend that what you do is you put a drop of crazy glue on and slide them together, and they will stay pretty much forever.
Well, they will be forever.
I actually use cut up Q-tips and insert them in that hole, and they'll get moist and expand and lock. But they're Q-tips, so they're no issue with the metal falling anywhere.
I use a bunch of those. In fact, a lot of the new power supplies and things you get now have the power pole connectors on them. So I think it's a pretty good way to go standard. I had to order some big ones. I've got some big UPSs that I've got 300 pounds of external batteries outside, and ran a cable out. And my UPSs had a power pole connector on the back, but those are about as big as your thumb.
Yeah.
I don't know how many amps they were, but there's some big ones, man.
Yeah, I got that on my Go box.
Just for folks who are wondering what pin we're talking about, if you take a look at the power pole connector, you see here in the middle where there's a little hole there.
Yep.
That's where you can put a locking pin to lock the two together. These connectors slide together, and then you can lock them. But again, you'll notice you can see a little bit of the residual crazy glue here. Crazy glue them, and that works fine. You won't
get those apart. Now IOL here, he says he has an extraction tool, but he's had zero success. I don't have an extractor tool, but I normally take a very small, little bitty, teeny weeny screwdriver, and I can disassemble them and pull the lug out. So
you can.
Exactly.
You just need to practice.
As Tom was mentioning, these are the 15 through 45 amp size. There are larger power poles, and the ones he's talking about I've used also. Those are for even larger amounts of current. You can get them for 100 amps, especially for a UPS. And I've had to deal with those too. Those are probably only useful in ham radio if you're trying to wire up an amplifier, and and the power supply uses more current rather than more voltage to power it.
Yeah. Jim, you wanted to say something? You're muted.
I think Jim was.
There we go. Yeah. No, sorry. Yeah. I've turned the Vox back on. I was going to grab one of the extraction tools. It's got like a yellow plastic handle, and it's got sort of a U-shaped end, so you can grab the end of the power pole connector and move it up, and then slide it out of the plastic housing. And I think Brett said it very well. There's a red on the right with a block up, and then black next to it. That's the standard, and that's the way the equipment's also wired, like Elecraft. You want to make sure that you do it correctly. One guy did it backwards, plugged it into the back of his Elecraft, and it wasn't pretty. So you got to pay attention to that polarity and get them right. And those blocks are really handy. I just bought another set like you have to do some other equipment and plugged in everything to
Yep.
get it going, Brett.
Well,
Yeah,
I use. Go ahead, Brett.
Yeah, the extraction tool is it feels and looks kind of like a lock pick, and it requires the same sort of skill to catch the contact just right and get it out. But it's something you can learn. You just need to practice it a little.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
agree.
Now, Brett, what do you do when the conductor is really small, like number eight, less than number 18, maybe number 20, and you want to put it into like the 15 amp connector? Any tricks for crimp? And by the way, you also said crimp. You're not supposed to solder those, correct? You're supposed to crimp them only.
You definitely have to crimp them. You can put some solder on for good measure if you'd like. And some people, that's really a matter of personal taste. But definitely crimp them. And if you've got a really small wire, make sure that the fuse is rated for that. Make sure that you use like a 1 amp auto fuse in there. And when you go to crimp it, double the wire back on itself a couple of times and then put it in the crimper. And that'll let you crimp a pretty small wire. I have a couple of small things. I have one watt meter, which is an MFJ watt meter that I put a power pole on, that has just a little light bulb in it, and that takes very little current. It has very thin wires, and that's what I did in order to connect it. I doubled the wire back on itself twice, and then I crimped a power pole on.
Okay, good advice. Thanks.
Yeah. And now in my case, I never heard about the you don't solder on those things. So anytime I get a small wire, I do what Brett said. I double it over, crimp it, and then I solder it.
Yeah,
it's not going
I do the same. I do the same. The thing is, though, if you get too much solder on there, it won't fit in. It will not fit in there. So you got to
Well,
be
you
careful.
got to get the solder inside the inside piece, not on the outside.
If you get it on the outside, you're going to be in trouble trying to insert the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing about the crimper itself, there are two types of crimpers that I'm aware of. One is a standard pair of pliers style. I do not recommend those. There's a nice ratcheting style crimper that with interchangeable, Brett, what do they call those? The
Die.
There are different jaws and dies that you can put into the jaws that that let you crimp different things.
I designed the dies with a company in South Korea that you find on the internet. That those dies were partly my design because they would send a copy of it.
Cool.
The other one that I use is this kind of a tool, but you have to be careful because if you bend the contact, the piece that's doing the conducting, if you bend that thing, it's going to be trouble getting into the housing. It really needs to be pristine. If it's bent or deformed in any way, or if you have a bunch of solder on the outside, it's not going to fit. And the other thing too is when you put it in, as Brett had mentioned, the end of that contact has sort of a downward bend to it, and it has to go over the existing metal on the inside, and so it'll click. And if it clicks, it's probably good. If you don't hear the click, you probably haven't pushed it far enough into that housing.
Yeah, I much prefer that die-based crimper with the ratcheting. You get just the right amount of crimp with it. It's basically automatic. Plus, you can swap the dies out and use it for standard crimp lugs and even the RJ11 and RJ45 Ethernet and regular telephone connectors.
Yeah.
So I love being able to swap those dies.
And coax connectors.
That too, yes.
Yeah, so they have the same crimp tool that ratchets. You can get one that'll crimp a standard coax connector on LMR 400, RG213, that kind of thing. RG8X.
Yeah, I have both of those. So yeah, I love them. I love that tool.
All right, guys, we need to move on. We got several things to talk about tonight. But hey, Brett, thanks so much, man. Everybody needs power poles. I got a whole drawer full of them in here. And hey, as I start adding stuff, I'm starting to see it's a hassle when you have mixed ways to hook stuff up. So I'm kind of trying to convert and get everything the same, like on power poles. So That's a good solution here, the power poles. All right, hey guys, let me just mention we got the Hamfest. I want to call it the Russell. It's not the Russellville Hamfest. It's the Arkansas River Valley Amateur Radio Foundation, I think is what it's called. But anyway, it's if you look up Russellville Hamfest, you'll find it. And it's going to be in Dardanelle, Arkansas, this coming weekend. Glenn's going to go over. Kathy and I are going to go over. It's a Saturday only. Kind of small, but I think it'll be good. And like Glenn was saying earlier, you know, I'm ready to get out of Dodge and start breathing some air outside and feeling better, you know. And so we're going to go to that. That's my college town where I grew up. Well, when I say grew up, I guess I grew up, you know, from 18 to my 20s anyway. So that's where we're going. This will be my second time back in about 50 years, I guess. So it's going to be interesting getting over there. We've already talked about Mount Nebo there. So let me put their slide up here on their Hamfest right here. Is that it? Yeah. Arkansas River Valley Hamfest right there, Dardanelle Community Center, March the 2nd. So we are going to go over and we'll get some video. We're not gonna webcast it live. And Glenn, by the way, Glenn, they're giving us a table. They're sold out, but they're giving us a table, and we're going to put our banner up, Glenn. So you'll have a place to park there, Glenn, and leave all the stuff you buy. You can put it under the table there, and you can sign autographs and stuff. You know, okay, they're at our
I'll
table.
do that too.
Yeah.
Well, you know the best part, of course they're going to have door prizes and raffle prizes and stuff. But you know the best part about that?
What's that?
It's just you and me. There's no Joe Eisenberg.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm not even buying a ticket to even for prizes. I'm not even going to buy a single ticket.
I am.
This time. I'm just
all
not.
All the more for me.
I'm
I won 2 prizes in Orlando.
I know it, man. I know it.
So yeah,
you lucky thing, you. But yeah, I'm not going for any prizes here. They got a couple nice prizes out there, though.
See, I rubbed my tickets against Joe Eisenberg before I threw him into the drum.
Yeah, yeah.
He won like 6 prizes there. So yeah, he's magic when it comes to that stuff.
All right. And in the other Hamfest coming up about 2 weeks later is the West Tennessee Hamfest. This is going to be a small Hamfest. It's north of Jackson, Tennessee. It's in Trenton, Tennessee. It's probably an hour and a half drive from here. I think, Glenn, you said you would probably want to ride up there with me, so we'll probably head up there. I've got to do a forum up there. I volunteered to do that. They asked me if I would, and I said sure. So we're going to do that. That's going to be on March the 16th. Right. But then I think the next week, after we get back from Russellville, I'm going to be at the Noshiba Ham Club, and they've asked me to do a presentation on Pico balloons. So I'll be doing that. So going to be busy the next couple weeks. But if you're in Tennessee or Kentucky, Mississippi, try to check us out here at the West Tennessee Hamfest.
And then on April 6th, you've got the Memphis Free Fest.
Memphis Free Fest, April 6th. Yep, that's a pretty good one. It's a 1 day, but it's a nice Hamfest, and we'll be going to it. And then on April the 8th, I think it's the 8th, we've got the Total Eclipse.
I picked up my Eclipse sunglasses today.
Yeah, yeah.
So I am prepared and ready.
I ordered a couple days ago. I got them in today. I ordered 10 solar sunglasses. I read where my welding helmet and shield is not government certified to block all the rays. So I went ahead and bought the certified glasses.
Yeah, the $1.85 paper.
Yeah, ones. Whatever they are. I got 10 of them.
They're better than your welder.
Yeah, then maybe I should weld with them. I don't know. Man,
yeah, there you
I guess you could put those little cardboard glasses on, do some welding. Now
WD8IOL is saying the Toledo, Ohio Mobile Radio Association Hamfest is March 17th.
Man, there's a bunch of them here at Toledo. That's too
the
far.
Hamfest season, man.
That's too far for me to go. Yeah. All right. Hey,
Yeah.
let me while we're on Hamfest, let me just mention this, guys. I was wanting to do a high impact Saturday Dayton Hamvention webcast, give away a lot of prizes, maybe a few $1,000s in prizes. But I have been asking for volunteers. I went to the Dayton Facebook page, and I went to other pages. I'm asking for people that could be, you know, a roving reporter for us. Just take your smartphone and walk around and give us some video for maybe 30 minutes in the morning or 30 minutes in the afternoon. I've got about 2 volunteers. I need about 10 to make the show work. I'm about to decide that we will not be doing a Hamvention webcast this year, and that's going to end a streak of about 20 years of Hamvention webcast. So, guys, unless somebody comes through and says they want to be a roving reporter for our channel here, and what we would do, you have your smartphone, you just walk around a flea market, show us what you're looking at, talk to people, and that's all it requires. We'll have your audio and video coming back. We'll patch you into the show. I'll be here in the studio. We'll patch you into the show, and we can have up to maybe 10 different camera feeds going even at the same time. And when one gets exciting, we can flip to it. But if I can't get about 10 people to volunteer, we're going to call this thing off. And I've got to do that soon, because typically it takes me about a month to round up all the prizes and to build a web page and show all the prizes and all that. It's a lot of work. If I don't get the 10 volunteers, we're not going to do it. And that'll save me a lot of work, and also save me a lot of work afterwards, because it usually takes 3 or 4 days afterwards where I have to notify the vendors, get the prizes shipped out to everybody, and handle everything. So we may not do it. We more than likely we won't do it. Now, Huntsville is dear in my heart. The Huntsville Hamfest is, and they've always taken really good care of us and gave us a great booth up there. We've always webcasted it, but guys, I think I probably will not webcast it live this year. We will take some video, and we'll probably just show it on the show the Tuesday after the Huntsville Hamfest. I want to go and look around. For 20 years doing the show, I have not had an opportunity to just walk around and talk with people off camera, because we really never had any real help to, we needed 3 or 4 camera guys to go around and do stuff instead of me trying to do it all. So I want to enjoy it. I want to walk around. I want to look at stuff. Man, I want to buy a KWM2A here, and I want to buy this, and I want to buy that. All that stuff I've been looking at. So I'm going to go enjoy it. I'll get some video. We'll show it on the show. But that's probably going to be the extent of our it looks like to me that the time has come where we probably won't be webcasting live Hamfest any longer. But, I'm thinking, okay, I've rounded up thousands and thousands of dollars of prizes for these Hamfest. I might try to work it out where we still round up prizes, but we give them out every week on the show. That will be my new goal, that for everybody that watches on a Tuesday night, we'll have Hambot come in here on Tuesday night and give somebody a prize every Tuesday. So that may be the direction we're going here, guys. So just wanted you to know that. Coming up, I think we got Glenn is talked to is it Dr. Duino or Dr. Arduino?
It's Dr. Duino.
Dr. Duino. He's talked to Dr. Duino, and I think he's going to be with us maybe in a couple weeks. We'll let you know more about that later.
Yeah, our schedules are kind of conflicting because, next week we're going to be reviewing the Russellville Hamfest, and the following week I'm out doing a seminar at the Delta Club here in Memphis. And then we got Russellville after that. So we're talking probably closer to the end of the month. We'll get him on here.
Okay.
And have him talking about his new products and what he's doing. he's one of the premier folks building Arduino development systems, introductory packages, learning packages, things like that. And he's very good with that stuff. And he'll be a lot of fun to have on. We've had him here before.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. All right. So let's see. I think we're ready to take just a real quick break here, and then we're going to go see Martin F. Jew, and we're going to be looking at kind of a tour of MFJ Enterprises. This is something I did a while back, but I think it's still very up to date to see. Except I have a really bad hair day there, and I think it was very hot that day. It looked like I was sweating a lot, and I don't know. So just disregard your reporter and just watch the video, and you're going to see all the behind the scenes of building everything from the coils and the rotary capacitors to tuners to antenna analyzers. You're going to see how they wind the toroids. You're going to see everything in there. But that's coming up in just a moment, and we'll be right back. Don't go away. Keep the competitive contesting edge with ICOM. Our innovative and high-power base stations cut through pileups, letting you work the bands and record those contacts. Heard it, worked it, logged it. The IC7300 is an industry first, using RF direct sampling system in an entry-level HF radio. This compact high performance and innovative transceiver will far exceed your expectations. The real HF fun starts here. The 7300 has RF direct sampling, 15 discrete bandpass filters, a 4.3-inch color touchscreen, real-time spectrum scope, and an SD memory card slot. For further information about ICOM radios, go to www.icomamerica.com/amateur. Okay. Hey, Jim has something he wanted to tell us. Man, California has come out with something new. What? Tell us, Jim.
Oh, we're special here. We do a lot of things.
Yeah.
And, one of them. See if I can put it up on the screen. Yeah, there it goes. Here we go. I'll disappear and it should come up. So this is a California license plate, and apparently the DMV is issuing this sticker in place of a metal plate. A lot of cars don't have a holder for a license plate. So this apparently is what they're going to be issuing, is a sticker for the front of the vehicle.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Are you able to see that okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Now, what if you're, are those letters black? Like the sand?
they're blue, actually.
They're
so
blue?
it's blue with a white, yeah.
What if you have a blue car, all the bumpers in there are plastic now, and you got a blue bumper up there, and you slap that on there?
Well, the field is white.
Oh, yeah, it is white. You're right. You're right. Yeah, the field
California
is
is red, so it's a red, white, and blue license
white. Why didn't
plate.
I think of that? Yeah.
I don't know.
Man.
So that's we're so in the hole with a gigantic deficit that this is probably a way to save some money at the DMV, which is doing a lot of things remotely.
Yeah,
You don't go there much anymore.
Well,
a good inkjet printer, and I wouldn't have to buy a license plate.
we only have one license here, and it's on the back. That's if you want to put it back there. We don't require a front one.
I'm surprised.
You do not.
No.
Because they're reading them automatically now.
Yeah, the traffic lights have cameras mounted, and they're reading those front license plates and keeping track of them. So when you go through an intersection, in many parts of California, it's registered on that camera.
Yeah.
Period.
Now, is that if you peel that thing off? Let's say you move to a different state, and you want to peel that off. Does it mess your bumper up?
Is it
like those bumper stickers we used to get back in the '60s? You put them on that chrome bumper, and then you try to tear it off, and it sticks on there, and you can't get it off.
For me, it's a brand new idea.
Yeah.
So.
Oh man.
I don't know.
Yeah, that would be a mess trying to get it off if they did it like the anti-theft on the little tags they give us for our plates.
Yeah.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
That would be
yeah.
a mess.
What happens if you sell the car or get a
Yeah.
vanity plate?
Oh, well, you got a
What if you
problem
get a ham
there.
radio plate with your call
Well,
sign?
you may have to transfer your tag with it.
No, yeah. In
No, you keep the
California,
bumper.
Well, go ahead, Jim. What in
yeah,
California?
in California, the license plate, if you have the ham radio or a special license plate, that plate belongs to you, and you transfer it to the next vehicle.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah. But
Yeah,
as
but how
far
are you
as
going to move the bumper from one car to the other?
you're gonna have to unbolt the darn thing.
Yeah, I don't know,
That's
man.
going to be rough.
Well,
Next up
Hey.
is universal bumper mounts.
well, what? Hey, that's a good idea. Hey, Glenn. Why don't we start up? Why don't we make stickers like that for ham radio calls and sell them for people? Stick them on their car.
Yeah, we can do that.
I think this new thing is nothing but trouble, but
Hmm.
a
Yeah,
lot of
that
stuff
might be.
a lot of stuff out here is nothing but trouble.
Yeah, it's kind of got that look that it hasn't been fully thought through yet.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you'll be all right. All right. So let me just quickly make this announcement, and then we're going to go over to MFJ. So you're listening to or watching Amateur Radio Roundtable, a show about shortwave and ham radio. We're on every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Central Time on W5KUB if you want to join our live show. And if you're out there listening on WBCQ, you're listening on shortwave to our show on Thursdays between 5 and 7 p.m. Eastern Time on 7490. Thanks for watching and being with us tonight. We're going to go now to our friend Martin F. Jew down in Stark, Vegas. You didn't know we had a Vegas down here, down in Stark, Vegas, Mississippi. So let me see if I can cue that up here. And let's see how it looks here. Hopefully the audio is a little better than it was last week. Hey guys, welcome to MFJ. I'm here with Martin F. Jew, founder of MFJ. Everybody knows Martin. He's on our show all the time, and we always like visiting and looking at all the vintage stuff.
Yeah,
here.
we're probably not audible now.
This is a happy place, man.
Are
you guys hearing the audio? Your middle name.
I can hear you. I can hear
fun,
the audio
right?
through the
The
mic.
F stands for fun, right?
That's right. F-U-N, my middle name.
Okay, all right.
So, how is Martin doing in terms
Pull
of
out
selling the
my
business?
driver's license, and you can see it.
I don't know, but stand by.
All right, so
we're
Fun's
talking
his
over
middle
the show.
name there. All right. Well, look. Hey, you added anything new? Ed, hey, our cameraman is Ed Harrison tonight. Thank you, Ed, for being with us. And look, again, guys, if you've never seen this, the vintage equipment here in Martin's office, take a look at this. Boy, there's more behind there. Martin, you got anything new lately?
No, I don't think there's anything new up here. It's been rearranged. There may be some new stuff.
I think you probably have bought everything that's out there. You got one model of everything. Did you get that up there yet? Any of that? Look at that. Hey, this was that was a neat transmitter. That was my transmitter back. I built that in my novice days. 150 watts VFO. Of course, as a novice, we had to run a crystal, and it could only run 75 watts. And look around this way. He's got my first receiver, man. This was this Helicopter's receiver here, SX140, was my first receiver. Brings back old times. Suitcase up there. What is that?
It's a instructor graph. It taught Morse code using paper tape. That cardboard box above it is a box of tapes, paper tapes, and it would play Morse code, and that's how you would learn it. It's a military device.
Yeah, I've seen those. Hey, let's just look around here a little bit more and see what we got. You got your famous picture there. Now, this is your store where you grew up. You had your ham shack upstairs in the attic. And Martin tells us he didn't even have a floor up in the attic. I don't know how that worked out. Now, tell us about the dog. Do you know who that dog was?
Oh, yeah, Yeah, that's Pokey. That's a German Shepherd that used to be our pet back then. But if you look over there to the right of the door, that tank, that's a coal oil tank. COAL, kerosene.
Cool. Yeah, I know what that is.
Yeah, they used it in coal oil lamps. Lots of folks didn't have electricity back then.
So in that little store, you guys now, you started working at the store when you were really young. How old were you when you started working here?
We were about 6 years old. And, I mean, we had to stand on milk crates so we could see people above the counter.
Oh man! So and you did a little bit of everything. You sold coal oil in there. Was it kind of like a general store? Did you sell nails and stuff?
Well, mainly food. We sold some hardware. We sold meat, canned goods, sacks of flour, carbide lights. You probably don't even know what carbide light is. Yeah. Yeah. No, we sold hammer.
I was always afraid it might catch your hair on fire with a carbide light, man.
Yeah, I didn't. Well, we don't have that problem now. We lived in the back of the store, and I'd climb upstairs into the attic and set up the ham shack.
All right. Well, tell me here how you hooked your antenna up. This is the store right here. Now, did you have a vent or something up here in the attic where you'd run the wire out?
Out the back. It went all the way out the back. There was a big thing, where you put a big attic fan. Well, we didn't have an attic fan, but there's a big hole with louvers back there, and I would run the wire out and just kind of nail the antenna along the eaves at the beginning, and then after a while went out to some trees.
Went out to some of the trees here. Well, this is cool here. Now, you and your family lived, I think, in that store, didn't you?
Yeah. Now we there at one time there were 11 of us that lived in the back of that store.
Well, you're gonna have to tell us the story. I've got a little short video on you cutting the cheese. You want to talk about the cheese?
Oh yeah. Well, let's see. That was King of Cotton back during that time. Everywhere there was cotton on the side of the store, cotton fields, and biplanes would come and spray DDT on the cotton, and we as kids would run out in the cotton field, lay down so, we'd get up all yellow with DDT.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, there were cotton choppers, and what they did was to chop the weeds out of the rows of cotton. And during lunchtime, we'll get truckloads of people come in and buy lunch, and they would always order 15 cents worth of cheese, a package of crackers, and RC cola. So I would have to cut 15 cents worth of cheese from a hoop using a hand knife. Well, I couldn't always cut 15 cents worth, so I would ask them, is 17 cents okay? And I said, no, I want 15 cents worth, so I just take a bite off the cheese.
Hey, you're talking about RC colas. I bet you guys sold moon pies back in too.
We sold lots of moon pies.
Moon pies. That's a good snack in the South. RC cola and a moon pie, right?
Yep, good snack.
And the other story that just fascinates me is I know you were talking about dragging a piece of meat down the hallway that was almost as heavy as you. How'd you do that?
Well, we had a big walk-in cooler, and there were 4 quarters of beef hanging on hooks, and you had to take that and bring it out and to the saw and the cleaver and cut it up. Well, sometimes those 4 quarters were so big I couldn't pick them up, so I just dragged them across the floor to the butcher block.
Oh, man. Now, did you actually cut the meat yourself?
Yeah, I cut the meat.
But you being of Chinese heritage, is there any special way to cut meat? I mean, I've been to Hong Kong many times and in places, and Man, you know, the meat I saw over there, it looks like to me they chased it down the street with an axe and just chopped it up however they could chop it up, man. I mean, how did you cut the meat? Did you do it right?
Well, you know, we did it the way our customers want it. This was just regular cuts of meat. The way that the folks down in Mississippi like it. You know, just steaks and pork chops and just cuts of meats.
So you grew up in the Delta down on Highway 61 down here. You know, I grew up in the Delta on Highway 61 up in Arkansas, not too far from you. Our paths kind of cross in that area. You got your license a little bit before me. When did you get yours? About 1960?
1960, yeah. I think it was
Well,
like,
you beat me. I was 16, but I got mine in 64. And what age did you get your license?
I was 16 too. And that Highway 61, you know, that's the famous blues highways that can all the way from Baton Rouge, most southern part of the country, all the way up to Canada.
Famous, and especially right through your area. My area was cotton country there. Hey, did you? I know you served the cotton choppers and people like that, but did you serve anything exotic like Peking duck or anything? Did you ever have Peking duck there?
No, but we sell a lot of neck bones.
Neck bones, huh? Okay. Well, you know, I've never eaten a neck bone myself, but I would imagine.
Oh, neck bones are great. Those meat that falls off the bones and cook it with black-eyed peas. Oh, it's great. Lots of soul food.
Well, I tell you, I like the black-eyed peas, but I like cornbread with it. What about you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, cornbread, turnip greens.
Turnip greens are good.
Yeah.
You know, now my wife likes spinach. It looks kind of like turnip greens, but I like the turnip greens better.
Yeah. We didn't eat much spinach, mostly turnip greens, collard greens. Let's see, I can't remember now. Black-eyed peas, things like pig ears, oxtail.
You had pig ears and oxtail?
Yeah.
You eat it or just sell it?
Oh, no, we sold it and ate it. Yeah.
Hey, what about, you like asparagus? I don't like asparagus.
No, I don't. Asparagus, yeah.
You know, Martin, I went in the Air Force and I was in the chow hall and I thought I got green beans and I was eating those things here in basic training and I said, man, these are some slimy green beans. And the guy said, that's asparagus.
Well,
Look, hey, let's get our cameraman to follow us. Let's walk through the other side over here. You got some neat things you've been. This is where you kind of experiment, isn't it? You kind of work on stuff and experiment over here.
yeah, I guess that's a nice way of saying.
Come on in here.
Yeah, this thing here that
Step over here, Martin. Right here. Tell us what you got going here, man.
that's a HW16. That's the old novice Heath kit. It's really a transmitter and a receiver. Didn't have a VFO. You use crystals on it, and it was designed for the novice. It had 80 meters, 40 meters, and 15 meters, and I'm just taking the 15-meter band and converting it into the 20-meter band. I'm just playing around.
All right. And here's some homebrew stuff. That's just a tube, maybe some type of tube radio that you built here, or?
Yeah, that was
Man.
tube transmitter.
A tube transmitter. I see the tube there. Look at there.
Piece of PC board with hose cut for the tubes. And,
Yep.
It's going to have a regenerative receiver with a tube transmitter. I'm just.
You're just playing. That's nothing you're thinking about selling with MFJ, is it?
No,
tubes are out, right?
Tubes are out. Yeah.
Well, let's scoot on down here if we can. Boy, man, now I don't know. I think you got some new stuff. Hey, this Span Master. Now, tell us about the Span Master.
That is a new one. That's this was back in the 50s and 60s. That's a night kit, and this one was that night kit had 3 regenerative receivers: the Ocean Hopper, the Span Master, and the space spanner. And I started off with the space spanner. I have one or two of them over here, but the Span Master was the top of the line, and it had a regenerative control and a fine regen control. Let's see, that one is new. This thing here, I think is
What is that? That's a multiplexer, Q multiplexer.
okay, Q multiplier.
You got stuff in here you've collected. You don't even know what it is.
Yeah,
All right.
here's a lunchbox, Heathkit lunchbox.
Now, was that 2 meter or 6 meter?
Well, let's see which one
They
this is.
made both, didn't they?
Yeah, they made 6 meters, 2 meters, 10 meters. And that is a
Conar, yeah. Yep.
and the matching transmitter down here.
Wow, so that's cool here. Well, man, it's like Christmas every time I come, Martin. We have a great time here. We'll walk back in the office here, and I know we're just seeing very small parts of this. Hey, here's an old Arc. Is it an Arc 5? Arc 5. Now that was a transmitter, right?
Well, that was the receiver.
Oh, the Arc 5's receiver.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was that?
I was going to fix those up.
This military stuff back in the early 60s, 50s, you could get your hands on it pretty easy.
Yeah.
And a lot of people use these or the transmitter, I guess, for a VFO, for some of the rigs.
Well, they did. What you're holding in your hand is a complete 80-meter receiver, 3 to 6 megahertz, fine tuning. I think you seemed like you had to put a VFO switch on it so you turn it on and off. It was wired up, I think, with
Yeah.
24 volts, and you rewired the filaments.
All right, I see something here interesting. Let me get it out here. I want you to tell us what this is. This is I don't know. Is this something real? Is this real?
Complete. Oh yeah.
Is this
That's a antenna for your house. This telescopes up. It's loaded. You can push this up against the wall and extend these out.
telescoping.
Yeah, that's for your top loading. And this also telescopes all the way up to the roof. To the ceiling.
Is this like
And this is
a
an antenna tuner. It's a transmitting antenna.
transmitter?
Yeah. No, it's a
receiver?
transmitting antenna. You can put a ground on it.
Okay.
Just counterpowers. Just lay it on the floor. Just lay the whole thing on the floor. Move this antenna up and extend this out, and you have a complete.
top loading and it keeps
Right.
you from having to go so tall.
Right.
Now, is this a product that you guys are thinking about making?
Well, it was something I was playing with. Yeah, we could make this. I was thinking about it, but I never got around to finishing it.
Well, I know a lot of things that you make here over the years are ideas that people send you little notes, or you talk to people that come visit, and you'll write those things down in your book there, and sometimes those ideas.
Yeah, here's something. It's a loop with a capacitor.
Yeah,